afternoon. Welcome to this edition of the Coal Scene. I'm Chris Hamilton, and I'll be your host for the next half hour and throughout this program segment. Notice the venue has changed here. The scenery has changed. We were in downtown Pittsburgh at Highmark Stadium, where in just moments we're going to witness and experience a major coal and energy rally, where a number of people from West Virginia will be traveling to and participating in, as once again we are joining with other states, other coal, utility, industrial workers from across our region to show our support for the industry and to also protest the new EPA climate rules, which were recently released, which all but guarantees that there will be no additional new coal-fired plants, and also serve to restrict and reduce the current fleet of coal-fired generating facilities that we have. We're just so pleased that everybody is so eager to join together from within our state and surrounding states to show support for the men and women who work within the coal industry, who've devoted a lifetime, a career of providing low-cost energy and fuel to industrial facilities as well as homes throughout our great state and throughout the United States. The Environmental Protection Agency will hold a series of hearings on their proposed rules beginning tomorrow right here in Pittsburgh. That's why we're here today. That's why thousands of miners and their families from across our great state have made the trip to join together today to show their support and to participate in today's rally as well as EPA's hearing tomorrow. We're going to show you highlights from the actual rally today, and you'll hear from our governor, you'll hear from the governor of Pennsylvania, you'll hear from a number of other political and industry and business leaders. So enjoy the next half hour or so, and we'll be back to wrap up shortly.
Look across the river and look at the downtown city of Pittsburgh. You know what made that? You did. You did, because it's coal that's in there and the production of that. It's not just the coal that we see going up and down the rivers. I had a job for a number of years in one of those buildings. I looked right down on the river, and what would I see? I'd see barges going up and down the river full of coal. And that's what we're talking. We're talking about the production of coal. But it's much more than that. What is it? It's jobs. It's electricity. It's power. How many of you have a cell phone in your pocket right now? Put your hands up. Come on, put your hands up. Everybody in the back, everybody in Washington, everybody across the country. And they don't work on solar. They work on electricity. And that electricity is produced by you all. 40% here in Pennsylvania of the plants, 40% of the electricity produced is produced by coal. So when I see our signs, and I truly believe it, stop the war on coal, I agree with that. But I also want to say to the administration, stop the war on our electricity. We need it. The demand continues to grow and grow and grow. We see more manufacturing. We see greater reliance on electricity all across the grid. And a lot of people don't understand what the grid is until there's a storm comes through, knocks down a power line, they go, oh, we don't have electricity now. Geez, we may not have heat now. Well, if we don't supply the grid through the coal that we have, we don't have enough power coming from the other sources. We're looking at a very dangerous period of time for everybody because we need that electricity. So I want to thank you for all what you're doing. And I hope you're going to be here and talking to the various people that from the administration looking at what we should be doing. Well, let's give them some advice. Let's bring balance. Let's bring a balance to this. You all can do it. The energy industries, the power industry, they've been doing it. They know that there's such a thing as clean coal technology. The numbers now are much better than they were in 2005 because they invested at the direction of the EPA and at the direction of the federal government in producing power plants that can use clean coal technology. And now, what are we supposed to do, abandon it? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. We need this message to go out. Now, right now, Lieutenant Governor of Ohio is here with me. And Governor of West Virginia is here with me. We're talking to the choir, right? You all are the choir. We don't have to convince you, do I? I hope not. Okay. But we need you to help us go and convince the people in Washington that we truly need an all of the above and below the ground philosophy when it comes to energy. This country is great because of the hard work that men and women like you in the industry do here in the United States. We're the leader of the world. We should not give up that advantage. We should be able to use that above and below the ground philosophy when it comes to creating the energy that this country continues to need and will continue to need for generations in the future. I'm looking at two little young men right down here, okay? This isn't about just us. This isn't just about the 6,100 coal jobs here, miners jobs here in Pennsylvania, and over 60,000 jobs that are touched by it. It's about them. They don't have the jobs right now. Okay? Someday they're going to need a job. Right now, though, they need electricity. They need to keep that refrigerator working. They need the lights on in the school. And they need to have it affordable. And what do? You provide that affordability. And we can do it right here in the United States, right here in the great tri-state area. I'm going to end with this, and I have really edited that 2-hour speech, as you can tell. And let's just use some common sense, because that's what this is all about. It's that balance. It's providing jobs, not just for you in the industry, for the miners, everybody associated, but for people in manufacturing and people in other areas that need that energy. Yeah, we got the media here. They need energy. Because if we don't have electricity, well, you don't watch them on television, do we? Okay? They can't take cell phone pictures like they're doing right now if they don't charge that cell phone up. It's about common sense when we're looking at this. And I'm going to end with this one. It's a friend of mine gave me this. And you know, we had a pretty cold winter here. You all agree with that? And unfortunately, I think we're going to have another cold winter. Okay? So I want to think about that power grid, you know, the grid that we have and how we have all the different forms of above and below the ground. But 40% of our energy comes from below the ground. So I want them to think about this past winter, and I want them to think about this coming winter and the winters in the future, no matter where they are. Because when you're freezing in the dark, I wouldn't consider that an environmental victory. Thank you all.
We're here today to let EPA and everybody in Pittsburgh know how important each of you all are to this country and to this world and to everyone in this city's standard of living. We want EPA and this administration to know that their policies and their decisions are stripping away our jobs, our very livelihoods. We want them to know that you all are the best coal miners in the world, that your daddies and your granddaddies and even your great-granddaddies, as Governor Corbett said, built this great city. You mined the coal that made the steel, and you made the machines to win the world wars and to make America then strong and #1. And we're willing, as a group, as an industry, to work with anyone to preserve your all's jobs, all of our jobs, and our very way of life. But you know, this bunch at EPA and this administration has got to talk to us and quit talking at us. And we're going to prevail, folks. We're going to prevail because we are absolutely right. And America has more coal than any other country in this world, and there's nobody other than the ones in this crowd that know better how to mine it. Give us a chance to once again make America #1.
I'm proud of you sitting back here in these bleachers, and I'm proud of you here in front of this stage today for being here, for getting up and driving many hours, riding the bus to be here to show your support for your job, for your kids' future, and for the future of our country. I mean, that's what we're talking about here today. As Governor Corbett says, and Bill Rainey says, you know, coal is what made the steel, that built the ships, that kept this country strong. It's the one that created the electric, the power, that's kept our factories running for many years at an affordable price so we can produce the kind of goods that our country and around the world needs from us. But also, you know, we need to make sure that we have the availability of it. And that's one of the things that I'm very concerned about is the availability of power. You may or may not know back in January and February when we were having the below zero nights that the grid was running. And we got about 10 power stations in West Virginia, and all those will be taken offline within the next year between Appalachian Power and First Energy. But during that period of time, those power plants were producing at 90% or above. Now, where is that electricity going to come from? If those power plants are not out there on those peak times, there's going to be people sitting in the cold. There's going to be times when the lights may not come on. Yeah, there's going to be factories that may have to shut down. Those are the kind of things that we've got to have concerns about as a country. So I'm here today, joining you and others, to say to the EPA, as they have their hearings here in Pittsburgh, you know, we all want a clean environment, but we've got to be reasonable. We don't have the technology today to be able to burn the coal the way that they're proposing. And we're just simply asking that they back off, work with the states so that we can come to a compromise, so we can keep you coal miners working, so we can keep this country working. So I'm here today in 100% support of the coal miners and the whole region of this country and across this country, and I'll stand with you to the very end. Thank you for having me here today.
Well, good morning, and thank you all for being here, and I certainly appreciate the invitation to join you. You are here for a great cause. We support you, we support your work, we support your families, and we want to make sure that you and the next generations of Ohioans and Americans can benefit from the work that you do, the coal that you produce, which gives us the electricity we use every single day. Ohio has a long and rich history when it comes to coal production. It's a big part of our economy, and it's a big part of the fabric of our lives. Coal is responsible for nearly 70% of Ohio's electricity. 33,000 jobs are directly and indirectly tied to the coal industry in Ohio. We have an estimated 250 years reserve of coal under the ground. We should do as Governor Kasich said, dig it, clean it, and burn it. We've already seen a significant decrease in Ohio's carbon footprint. From 2005 to 2012, we've reduced our carbon footprint by 30%. Now the EPA, with these new proposed regulations, is asking us to go another 30%. It's not attainable. We can't get there. That's what makes it so important for you to be here today and for you to express your voice today, tomorrow, and in the coming days so that every American understands what you do and how important it is to our economy and to our lives. You are reliable, affordable energy. You are what powers our manufacturing facilities. As it's already been said, you turn on the switch, you're there for us every single day. The federal EPA is putting these rules in place, and that's gonna have an impact on your ability to be there for us every single day. Well, you have been there, you will be there, and we're gonna continue to be with you. Now, I can tell you, I'm also the director of the Department of Insurance in Ohio. I have seen this movie before, and it goes like this. Like it or hate it, Obamacare is very similar. We were told there would be flexibility in how we handle the regulations. Guess what? No flexibility. You're being told the same thing. The EPA, the federal EPA, is gonna be flexible. Well, I've seen the movie before. I can tell you it doesn't end well for us. That's why it's important for you to be here today. We've seen higher costs, less consumer choice, and we are being presented with a one-size-fits-all federal mandate approach to how we handle health insurance. You know what? They're doing the exact same thing to you guys. One-size-fits-all federal approach to how we're going to regulate your industry. It's going to have a dramatic impact, not only on all of you, but every Ohioan and every American across this country. We were told from a healthcare perspective, costs would go down. Everyone will have more choice. If you like your plan, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. Well, that's not what's happened in Obamacare, and guess what? It sounds a lot to me like, if you like your affordable, reliable energy, you can keep it. Well, guess what? That's why we're here today. We're gonna make sure, and we're gonna speak loud and clear with one voice to the federal EPA. We like our affordable, reliable electricity, and we're gonna keep it. And with your work, we can keep it. I was born and raised in Northeast Ohio. I'm a Midwestern girl. Our country, our state, grew up on coal. It is who we are. I would hate to see the state of Ohio and our country without the reliable, affordable coal that you produce for us every single day. Keep up the fight. Keep up the voices. Be strong, be adamant, and your voices will be heard. And I think as we stand here today, and as you talk to friends and family every single day until we beat this down, we need to say with one loud voice, Washington, stop the war on coal. Thank you.
Our purpose here today is twofold. First, to show our unconditional support for you and your families, and secondly, to demonstrate to EPA and to this president that the detrimental impacts of their actions in these proposed rules extend way beyond the thousands of frontline workers. They also impact our communities, our ancillary businesses that rely on coal production to sustain their presence in our economy or have remained viable due to their strategic location to uninterrupted, low-cost, reliable power. As it relates to the latter point, you and your colleagues have been dependable and predictable, something we believe will be missing within the entire energy and grid and industrial sector going forward if these rules before us are allowed to stand. Our members share your concern and they share your anger. The more they learn about this issue of climate change and EPA's illogical approach in dealing with it, the more perplexed and anger they feel. To think that all this pain and economic loss is over a mere 1% of all world greenhouse gas emissions is truly mind-boggling. It all but obviates a cost-benefit analysis, and the last time I checked, the United States is not a planet. It does little good to ratchet down our economy here while world greenhouse gas emissions expand. And so until other countries around the globe catch up and follow the lead already being demonstrated here with respect to environmental stewardship and environmental accomplishment, I simply say no, hell no. And as I look across this great city of Pittsburgh, I see a city that exemplifies our industry and environmental record today. A city that's been transformed by the same technological forces that have transformed our daily lives over the past 25, 30 years ago. Transformation that's not only fueled by your blood, sweat, and tears, but has been driven by coal-fired power and the electrification of our society. The skies here are blue, the water's clear. Wasn't always like that, but we've made tremendous progress. And we get better by it, by the hour, and by the day. We have demonstrated industrial leadership and environmental excellence to the world many times over. This is what the president should be touting around the world. Our demonstrated industrial and environmental leadership, not climate leadership. He has it all backwards. Your industry has cut airborne emissions in this country by over 90% to date over the past 25 years. The Mercury MAC rule, which is single-handedly responsible for the closure of hundreds of coal-fired power plants, hasn't even been implemented. We have not yet felt the effects of the MAC rule. Ironically, you're being punished for a job well done. punished by your president, who's using every single resource in every federal agency under his control to restrict, to inhibit, or otherwise affect your employment. And with your job goes your livelihood, your quality of life, and your ability to support your family. 2016 is only 2 years away, but it won't come quick enough so we can send this guy packing. We can rid him farewell. We're going to win this thing. I truly believe that. Don't let them bully you. You have the rightness of issue on your side. They're attempting to change the whole vernacular to make their point, and a large segment of the media is buying into it. Terms like global warming, global climate change, trying to pin all storm and adverse weather conditions on our industry. And yes, they also changed the name of February to the Arctic Vortex. We're days away from hearing about the Serengeti days of August. You can count on it. They know better, you know better, the public knows better. Again, the facts are with us on this one. The politics might not be, but the facts are. We have to fight back. We have to tell them how much progress has been made and will be made. We have to tell them how much pollution is being generated by other countries. And we have to also tell them that because of our beliefs, it doesn't make us a racist, nor a bigot, nor an ostrich. In fact, it's not your head stuck in the sand, it's someone else's head stuck somewhere else. We all must become a little more active. We have to do a little more, and we have to do it together. And if you believe climate change is occurring and that man's contributions warrant immediate action, that's okay. That's your prerogative. Just be sure to tell them it's only sensible and logical that we embrace a global solution and not to ratchet down our economy for such little benefit.
We're uniting our outrage for the Obama administration plans to use the EPA to put you and our nation's energy policies at risk. This most recent plan, which seeks to cut emissions from existing power plants, as we all know, is going to wreak havoc on our nation's economy. It's also going to be devastating for many of the people that are here today. Not only will energy jobs be put in jeopardy, but so many power plants may have to close or to go through huge renovations to come into compliance. And even coming into compliance is a real serious issue, if that can even happen. We know that this proposal is going to cause electricity rates to skyrocket and take more money out of our pockets. But the EPA and President Obama, they don't seem to care. Driven by their radical agenda, they're going to use any means necessary to achieve their goals, even if it means our workers have to bear the brunt of this terrible abuse. But you matter, and our jobs matter, and the health and security of our families and our country matter. Now, as you know, the EPA thinks that our concerns are unfounded. Well, here's what I say to that. Every single person who fears for his job because of this plan, you matter. And every one of you deserve to be heard. The parent who worries about how you're going to put food on the kitchen table and buy clothes for your children, that matters. The job that you work, whether underground, above ground, in an office or a power plant, on the road, you matter. Now, I find it very troublesome that this Obama administration dismisses our concerns when the policy at its core is blatantly illegal, and the EPA knows it. But as we've seen from this administration, they don't seem to care very much for upholding the law. In fact, even in the regulation that they proposed, the EPA admitted that the literal text of the Clean Air Act prohibits this rule. Isn't that unbelievable? But they claim that a one-sentence clerical drafting error allows them to disregard our very serious concerns. It's a ridiculous argument. And that's why West Virginia and 8 other state attorneys general, including Ohio, has stepped forward to file a brief to support a lawsuit that challenged this unlawful proposal. This rule needs to be struck down immediately. And we think it's unconscionable for the Obama administration to double regulate coal-fired power plants and play such a risky game with our lives and our jobs and our economy. We must be united in our respect for the rule of law. It's simply wrong for the EPA to attempt to exploit an unintentional drafting error, a technical error, to double regulate coal-fired power plants and impose one of the most sweeping and onerous regulations in our nation's history. This is a debate that's best left for Congress. Now that's why I'm urging the EPA to withdraw its proposed rule immediately. And if it doesn't, it's going to know that it's going to have state attorneys general fighting them every step of the way.
Welcome back. We hope that you enjoyed today's program. We hope that you enjoyed the excerpts from the rally that we shared with you. It's so pleasing to see so many West Virginians that are interested in preserving coal jobs and standing up and speaking out for coal. It's also pleasing to see all of our political leaders and our governor and all the people that we had assembled here today to provide support, to try to show some optimism. There's a lot of concern, a lot of valid points being raised about these EPA rules. And it's demonstrations and rallies like the one we've had here today that will truly make a difference. It's absolutely incumbent that we all do a little more, become a little more active, speak out, call and write your elected officials, and really become involved in the political process. As you well know, these rules represent a political challenge. There's nothing scientific or too technical. So it requires political solutions, and we just hope that everyone becomes a little more involved. With that, I want to thank you for viewing the program today, and thanks to the Library Television Network for affording us this opportunity. Have a good day.